Hello everyone, what is going on? My name is the Newbie Warrior and welcome back to my gaming channel. Today I am going to be talking about the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 beta, my first impressions, my feelings, my thoughts. I just finished playing the beta and then I ended up recording some videos and then I went to sleep. And so it's about a day after I played the beta. And so I wanted to just kind of let you guys know my honest thoughts on feelings about how it's going so far. So, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is, I guess, what I liked in the beta, a few of my concerns that I have for the beta, and then just generally talk about the direction Call of Duty seems to be going this year, and my thoughts on that. Really quickly, the gameplay you're watching is going to be, from me, it's all just some clips from the beta. There might be some stream highlights, we'll see, but it's just going to be some stuff that I recorded. Shouldn't be anything exceptional. There's a couple of moments I want to talk about. So before I get into anything else, I just want to talk about how the game performs, and how it looks and how it sounds. The TLDR is that the game runs extremely well. I would like to make a quick note here that I played on PC, and so during this video, I can only speak to the performance of the game on PC. I will be talking about my performance as well as the performance of the people that I played with and just the general consensus of what I'm seeing online. So for me personally, the game ran amazingly well. Just while I was playing, I was able to keep a constant 144 running at pretty much all ultra settings, with just a couple of things like one of the AAs down and film grade and motion blur and all that stuff off because it makes the game look worse. Anyway, please developers stop putting motion blur and film grain on by default. But anyway, it ran extremely well for me. I didn't dip below 144. The only time that I did have some performance issues is because I was streaming the game on a single PC using a single GPU. And then obviously because just streaming, I did end up turning some of the settings down, and the frame rate wobbled a little bit below into 120 or so, but point being, it ran extremely well for me. I would also like to say that the game ran very well for my brother, who is playing on an extremely older system. Not extremely older, it's my old PC before I got this PC. I designed it as a 1080p 60 gaming PC in like 2016, I want to say. Yeah, on an i3 and a 1063 gigabyte, it was holding 60 with almost everything up high, and it seemed to be running extremely well. I also spoke to several of my friends that I was playing the beta with who all said performance looked really good, ran really well, didn't have any problems in terms of the actual frame rate. For me, there was some pop-in, especially on the 32v32 mode. I noticed things in the distance were popping in, even though I had that setting set to, like, you know, the maximum render distance and all that stuff. So it's not too big of a problem, but I will say that there was a little bit of pop-in, a little bit of uglier textures and stuff in the background, but overall it ran extremely well. Now let's talk about how the game visually looks, and how it sounds. The art style that the game chose is realistic, but colorful, is how I would describe it. So it's not Black Ops 2, everything super saturated, extremely almost cartoonish style of graphics, but it's also not, everything's also not gray and brown. It's like they chose a pretty middle ground. I would say it's about where Rainbow Six Siege is, maybe a little bit more colorful than Rainbow Six Siege, and so I really appreciate that art style. The one caveat that I will say I have about how the game looks is that the lighting, maybe intentionally and maybe not, is very dark. The game is very dark, and unlike past Call of Duties, it doesn't seem like contrast scales with your brightness. So if you turn the brightness way up, it just washes things out, and it doesn't actually make people in dark corners easier to see. So I will say it's extremely difficult to see people who are hiding in corners in the dark, and like especially one of the maps was a cave, and the area that's outside the map and the cave, if you're in the cave looking out, you basically can't see anyone. because of the sun flare, and if you're in the cave, if you're outside the cave looking into a corner of the cave, like, there's definitely some weird sightlines and some lighting stuff, so hopefully that doesn't cause too much of a problem, but I did want to mention that could be an issue for some people. For me, it never bothered me too much. I enjoyed, like I said, the realism of it, but also the fact that it looks pretty. It's a gorgeous game. I didn't have RTX in the beta. I believe that was off. So the sound. The game sounds incredible. I saw a lot of people talking about not being able to hear footsteps or not being able to figure out where enemies were and things like that. I didn't have any problems. Personally, with the Headphones 3 preset, I was able to hear people extremely well. I knew exactly where footsteps were behind me. In terms of the weapon design, the sounds sounded very good, very meaty, with the exception of one of the shotguns I felt was a little bit lackluster sounding. The other one sounded good, but yeah, the gunshots felt great. The headshot sound in this game, I cannot put into words. Actually, I can. It's orgasmic, okay? If you like headshot sounds, if you like dinks, if you're like me, if you're a Widow player, if you're a McCree player, if you live for that skull crack, it's like, the sound effect for headshots in this game is insane. There was an option to turn on classic hit marker sounds. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do that because headshot sound. This game's headshot sound is the best headshot sound I've heard in any game except maybe Overwatch, but it's hard to compare them because Overwatch is a ding rather than an actual headshot sound, a crunch or whatever. But this headshot sound is seriously worth the minute I just gave dedicated to it. It's incredible, it's amazing. I'll probably play a clip for you guys so you can hear what I'm talking about.
Nice shot!
But seriously, the headshot sound. I have one issue with the audio in the game, and that is that your teammates' footsteps are louder than enemies, or at least the same volume. So frequently, like especially if I was scoped or if I was aimed down sight holding an angle, a teammate would run or spawn behind me, and I would freak out and turn around and start shooting at them. Obviously, friendly fire was off, so it didn't matter. But it definitely... Teammate footsteps seem to be super, super, super loud. So that is my only one complaint. But other than that, the audio design, I would say, is flawless, along with how the game looks. And, yeah, I guess I'm going to move on to gameplay now. Thoughts on the map design, the weapons, all of that. So, the gameplay. The first thing I want to talk about is the time to kill and the pacing of the game. This time to kill is very fast, especially coming from Black Ops 4. This time to kill is worlds faster than Black Ops 4. In Black Ops 4, I felt like the time to kill was a little bit slow. It feels like people were a bit bullet spongy. This game is not that. Alright, this is back to insane, mind-blowingly, meltingly quick time to kill. Which is a good thing in my opinion because it establishes a more realistic pacing, a higher danger, a higher tension pacing to the game. When I can die in 2 to 3 bullets from most enemies, the feeling of terror whenever I peek a corner there's a constant tension, right? When I'm trying to keep my kill streak, when I'm trying to capture an objective, when I'm trying to do whatever I'm trying to do, there's a constant tension, and that creates really, really good, fun gameplay, in my opinion. It also creates an opportunity for headshots to matter. If you headshot in this game, people will die. I'm pretty sure there's one assault rifle, it's called the Odin, and it may have 2-shot headshotted. I'm pretty sure it was a 2-shot headshot at every range, or at least at most ranges. So keep that in mind. That's a fully automatic assault rifle. The DMRs, the marksman rifles, everything kills. The pistols, the Deagle has a 1-shot headshot range of like what felt like 25-30 meters. It's insane. The time to kill is nuts, especially if you aim for the head, and that makes headshots feel like they matter, which makes me really happy. I really, 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 really like the gunplay. The weapons handled extremely well. The recoil is real and there. And that's just, the gunplay was flawless in my opinion. There was literally nothing they could do to improve the gunplay. I love it. Okay. So at its core, that's what a shooter is, right? You want gunplay to feel as good as possible. This game has perfect gunplay. Next, I guess let's talk about the weapon customization. This is my favorite part about this game or at least one of my two favorite parts about this game. The gunsmith is the new kind of create a class customization element to the game. So this year, Pick 10 is gone. We are going back to the Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 classic Call of Duty style of classes, where no matter what, you can't change it. You get a primary weapon, a pistol, a tactical grenade, and a lethal grenade, and 3 perks. No matter what you do. You can't give up any of those things for other things. That's it. You get those things, right? Which, I'm somebody that likes Pick 10. I like the flexibility of it. But I like them because they're going back to an older pacing of Call of Duty. They're going back to older map design, really trying to invoke and capture that feeling. To me, this feels right. It feels right to go back to that style of classes, and it creates flexibility for the gunsmith, which is the new creative class. We've never had this in Call of Duty before. I've never seen customization in a AAA shooter like this before. Basically, what gunsmith is you can modify the barrel, the magazine, the muzzle. You get like the optical rail. You can modify an underbarrel slot, a stock slot. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything else. Basically, you can pull your gun up, you can spin it around. There's all these different slots with tons and tons of attachments. I believe they said that during the full game, their intention is that for there to be 50 to 60 attachments on all primary weapons, which is amazing. A lot of those, I'll note, do seem to be optics, which is good. So there's lots and lots of choices. Like if you want a red dot, there's like 7 red dots to choose from. If you want an optic that's magnified like an ACOG, there's like 3 or 4 of those, it seems. Very cool. I love the customization. It let me run so many different classes, and this is something you guys know if you have seen Weird Weapons That Work is a series that I started, and I kind of started it right before my channel died off, and I ended up taking a break from gaming content. Obviously, I'm back, and Weird Weapons That Work is where I build a weapon or class to be as strange as possible. And this year, I am super excited for Weird Weapons That Work. I think that the Gunsmith will have more options for that than any other game, except, there's a game called Blacklight Retribution that let you do a very similar thing, change every component of your weapon. That's the only other game that I've ever played that let me do this. And I'm really, really, really excited. There are even options to completely change the handling, but also there's options to completely change everything about a weapon. If no longer do you pick up a gun and feel, ooh, is this gun good? No, I don't really like this gun. It's a slow handling sniper rifle instead of a fast one. You don't just not use that gun anymore. In the past in Call of Duty, you just say, nope, sorry, I'm using the other weapon. In this game, you're just like, no, actually, what if I made it faster handling, but I gave up a little bit of stability while I'm holding my breath, or long-range damage, or... So it lets you really fine-tune and create the weapons you want for any map, for any playstyle, and I feel like this weapon customization combined with the gunplay is going to make this year almost a perfect year for gameplay. The other thing, and I said that Gunsmith is my favorite or maybe one of my 2 favorite things this year, the movement in this game is god tier. So what they've done is they created a system where they said they don't want there to be any invisible walls, or they want to minimize the invisible walls as much as possible. Basically, their philosophy is if it looks like you can get up there, you can get up there. There's all kinds of places all over the map where you can jump on top of a trash can, to jump on top of this railing, to walk across this little piece of cover, to get on top of this building. Then you can sprint and slide and then jump and grab the edge of another building and pull yourself on top of that roof. Then you can put a riot shield down, vault over the shield, and get on top of another roof. But none of it feels it doesn't feel... It's not Apex, it's not advanced movement, but they wanted it to feel very good, very fluid, and realistic. When you're mantling things, there's a weight to it that it's hard to describe. Just know that the movement in this game is amazing. And like I said, paired with that gunplay, paired with the gunsmith, I am more excited about this year's movement and this year's core gameplay than I've been about Call of Duty, maybe ever. I think the core gameplay is in a better spot than any Call of Duty I've ever played, which brings me to my concerns and my negative experiences with the beta. So far I've been very positive. It sounds like I'm throwing the words perfect gameplay around, and best customization, and fluid movement. It sounds like I had a perfect experience with the beta. I did not. I would like to make that clear right now. The beta had a lot of issues, and there's a lot of things I'm worried about going into the game that, if not fixed, could cause problems for my enjoyment with the game, but also the game's survival as a whole. So, the first major concern that I had during the beta is bugs. I wouldn't call it a buggy mess. The game ran well. Like I said, thankfully performance was good. However, the exception to that rule is whenever you spawned, I'm not sure if this was just a PC bug, but every time I spawned, there was like a 1 to 2 second period where your game would like lag frames. I would dip to like 20 FPS, my ping would jump way up, and you like spawn in, you're kind of alive for like half a second, and you like sprint, and like one of my friends Corey was complaining about how like it felt like he was dying sometimes, taking damage before he could respawn, before he could move off of the spawn lag. I'm not talking about the spawn delay where it zooms in really smoothly, but there was a jitter, a horrible, horrible bug every time you spawned. It was awful. It led to some very frustrating, like, spawn in, run, barely get control of your character, glitch, run face forward into a wall because you're panicking and die to a streak. If that's not fixed, this game will get, like, review bombed. This game will get destroyed in terms of people liking it. I really, like, if that bug isn't, I will enjoy the game still. I enjoyed the beta still. That said, it will frustrate even me, and I'm somebody that I don't think it bothered nearly as much as other people. Even the people I was playing with, there were several people who were very frustrated with this. Like I said, it's possible there was a fix available during the beta that I just didn't read how to do. But as far as I could tell, it was happening to everybody in all of my lobbies, and it's awful. Okay, there was another bug that... There were really only two major bugs. There was the spawn glitch bug, or the spawn lag bug, I will call it. The second bug that I think really, 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 really needs fixed is the matchmaking ending bug. So basically, if you were in a group and a match ended, normally you just don't do anything and you queue for another match, right? That's the flow of Call of Duty. That's one of the things people love about Call of Duty. One of the things I love about Call of Duty is there's no pressure, there's no stress to jump into a game. You just jump in, you party up with your friends, you're good to go. You'll end up in a match. That didn't happen. So there was a glitch where if you were in a party and you finished a game, almost every game it would just infinitely say searching for players, and then it would never put you in another game until you either created a new party with a new party leader, disbanded the party, which is frustrating but not that big of a deal. Sometimes that didn't fix the problem, and we all had to restart our games. This is horrible for fluidity on PC. If the full game launches, and I have to, after every single match, close the game, reopen the game if I'm in a party, I think that'll kill this game. So I really hope that gets fixed. I will say, they did already address this on the forums, specifically for PC. They addressed this bug, said that they're looking into it, so I'm guessing it will be fixed, but I just want to say right now, this will kill the game for content creators. This bug, if left in the game, will kill the game for players. It will be extremely, extremely bad. So I really, really, really hope this isn't the case, because I love, love, love this game. And these two bugs alone, I think, could kill the game, ruin sales, especially on PC. Once again, I don't know if any of these things happen on console, because I didn't play the game on the beta on either console at all. But I just figured I would make a section of this video where I do say, look, the game could be ruined by these two bugs. It will be ruined. Like, imagine Shroud, right? Shroud is not going to put up with streaming a game where he has to restart his PC every match. You're going to lose content creators, you're going to lose buzz. It's going to be extremely bad. So please, please, Infinity Ward, please, please, High Moon Studios, Beanox, whoever else is working on the game for the PC port, please fix these two things. Please, I urge you, I beg you. Actually, there's two other things that I'm worried about with the game. The second one is microtransactions. Now, I just talked about how Gunsmith is amazing. I love it. The weapon customization is fantastic. There's a way they could ruin this, and that's if they put weapons, weapon variants, or weapon attachments that are in supply drops that I can't earn, or I can't earn within a reasonable amount of gameplay, right? If there's a legendary lightweight stock that gives me 30% more XP, like in Black Ops 4, than my other stock, or, provides an advantage, a competitive advantage in any sense, or even not a competitive advantage. If there are stat-changing unique weapons or attachments or perks or anything gameplay-changing that isn't available without paying money, this game will die. It will die on PC. I will stop playing it. Content creators will stop playing it. Please, 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 please do not do this. Do not kill Call of Duty. I think this year is Call of Duty's maybe last chance ever. There's a rumored free-to-play battle royale. Hopefully that goes well. Modern Warfare is it's fully cross-platform, cross-play. Apparently cross-saves are working. The game has the potential to save or ruin Call of Duty forever. This could be the game we look back on that either makes it so there is no Call of Duty next year, or makes Call of Duty an even better selling game every year after this year. If this game has scummy microtransactions, the game will die. The entire franchise will die. That's my major concern. I'll be making a future video, I think, where I talk more about my concerns for Modern Warfare, not just the beta. But the reason this is in the beta is because even in the Gunsmith, when I was looking at attachments, I was concerned immediately. I was one of my first thoughts, this is sad, one of my first thoughts after, whoa, it's so cool I can unlock these different optics is, oh, what if there's a sniper scope, a thermal sight, that I can only get from supply drops? So that's why I put that in the beta section, is I can see how easily Gunsmith can be exploited for microtransactions. So, to conclude things, I loved the beta. The beta made me extremely happy. I am very much looking forward to Modern Warfare. I think it's going to be a good year for Call of Duty. Like I said, I think this year could save the franchise. It could be the game that reboots it to the realistic military feel people like. Could be the game that increases the skill gap. Could be the game that makes cross-play work really well for Call of Duty, for major AAA shooters. And I think it could be a new era, right? And I hope it is. And I hope that the two bugs and the potential for scummy microtransactions, I hope that does not ruin the game, because the core gameplay is some of the best I've ever felt in a first-person shooter. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. As always, I would like to know your thoughts on the Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta, on Call of Duty Modern Warfare in general. Did you play it? What are your experiences from watching people play it? Are you going to be getting it this year? How worried are you about Call of Duty? Guys, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and please remember to stay newbie.